You're listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, episode 54.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, where positivity and spirituality create an enhanced life's journey with the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha. I am your host, Omileti Olubunmi.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. I am Omileti. Thank you for spending some of your time with me to talk about all things Orisha, spirituality, and growth. So turn up the volume. This is a good one. Put on your earbuds, grab something to drink, and let's chat. This episode is being brought to you by our very own Alejos 101. What is it? What is it? You may have heard it. It is a immersed program for 7 weeks. If you're new and you would like to know about these traditions, you're finding out all of this information and you're still stuck on step 1, or maybe you moved up to step 2 and now you're back to step 0, this is for you. Why? We get stuck. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of people that are telling you, no, it's done this way. No, you need to do it this way. And you're stuck. You are in your own situation. How is this relevant to you for you to get started within the Orisha traditions in either Isheshe or Lukumi, because it only focuses on those two? Then this is how you do that. If you want more information, because it is currently closed, go to www.orishawisdom.com/A101 coming soon, all together. This is another one of the Ask a Priest series. For those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. This is a series where it started out as kind of fun, like, I wonder what kind of questions they have. But a lot of people have a lot of questions. It is a series where you get to ask a question that you've always wanted to ask to an Orisha, an Orisha priest. And if your question gets chosen, then it is put out here to help you with your answer, but most probably because other people are asking that same question, and it is helpful to everyone. With that, we are going to get this episode rolling. Omileti asks, what can I offer Yemaya? First of all, Omileti, thank you so much for taking the time to write this question to us. It is not uncommon that people are coming into the traditions and they want to know about what they can offer Orisha, because it is one of the most exciting parts of coming in, like, oh my God, there's Orisha, and what can I give them? What can I offer them? What is it that they want? I'm going to start out, first of all, before we get to this question. This episode is not for priests. We're not going to respond for priests, because priests should know what Yemaya wants and what are the offerings for her. If you are a priest, of course, listen into this episode, of course, but if you really are in need for that answer, ask an elder, but not just any elder. Ask an elder in your lineage. And another thing, if you don't know, read your ita or get a reading, but you should know from your ita altogether. Okay, now let's dive into the answer. If you are an alejo, that means you're brand new, you do not have anything of the Orishas, you probably may not even have a reading, or you may have had readings, but you don't have a shrine, like you don't have a legba in your home, eshu, stuff like that. You're an alejo. Your key will be priests. No matter what you read or hear or videos out there, I don't advise you to go into the elements to just say, oh, I heard Yemaya likes watermelons. Let me go and buy the biggest watermelons I can and go to the beach. I'm telling you that, not because I'm pointing the finger. I'm telling you that because I did it. I did it. I lived in New York City, and I would take a couple of trains to go to Coney Island and then to try to find a spot where there weren't as many people with a big watermelon in a shopping cart and try to say a few words and roll it. And of course, it would keep coming back. And I'm like, but I want to give it to you. And I would be rolling it back to her because, I heard she loves watermelon, so I have to give her some. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I did it. Okay, let's get to my story before I continue, because I have a couple of notes here, but I want to get back to that story. Why is it that I'm saying don't do that? You're going to hear a lot of people say, just go to the ocean because she is the mother of the ocean. It is true. She's there, but she's not there every second of the day. Her waves are there, her messengers are there, but she may not be there. Key number one, if you drop off anything at any element, the Orisha that you are intending to give an offering to may not be the one that receives it. And you may come home with a buddy or two that are in the unwanted, in the please don't come here space. You don't know if she received it, even if it came from your heart. This was a mistake that I did early on. I got lucky. Some she saw that I brought it and I found out years later. Some she had no clue. So basically it was a waste of my time, my money, and effort, energy. It was just a waste because she never received what I had brought her. So even though it came from the heart, it held no weight because she never got it. And that's the whole point. If you're offering something, you want to do your best for the Orisha to receive it. Back to priests. I said the key to you alejos as well as aborishas, this is to both, are priests. If you want to make an offering to Yemaya, let's just talk about Yemaya for the now. Ask the question, priest so-and-so, Baba so-and-so, Iya so-and-so, what does Yemaya like? Ask the question. They'll tell you what their path of Yemaya likes. You're going to hear this. Oh, my Yemaya takes this. My Shango takes this. There are some things that are common, which we do expect priests and aborishas who have been here for a long time to know, but not everybody knows, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay. The why you ask the priest is because, well, he is or she has built a relationship with the deity that he has been entrusted with to have a pact with, right? The one that he or she has in the home. And they may have taken some time to learn from initiation, from readings, from all of their journey, what this deity, what this energy likes. And they'll tell you, oh, well, she likes this, she likes that, she likes this, and she likes that. And they'll give you a list. And then you can say, okay, maybe next time, can I bring her something? Most of the time, like 100% of the time, they'll say, yeah, sure. Or not this particular thing because this has to come in a reading or this is for major stuff. They'll tell you, but have that conversation with the priest because you want when you put in your time, you're going to go and buy or make something. You're going to take the time to go to this priest's house, and then they are going to invoke the Orisha. That means they're going to call Yemaya on your behalf, and you can put down your offering. That's how it's like a surefire way of like, yeah, I am going to take my time to bring an offering, and she's going to get it. Cool. I'm good. Okay. So this is why I say priests are your key. They're your key for this particular question. I wanted to mention, I wrote in my notes, festival and events. When I lived in New York City, they would say, oh, bembe, or drumming to Yemaya, or drumming to Oshun. This date, whatever, dress in white. If you'd like to bring offerings, here's a list. And they would put out a list. I would put honey and this and that and all that stuff. And you would pick from the list. By the way, I have a little story that hopefully I won't forget for later on, but I didn't quite do that. But I'll share it with you guys on events. This part on events, I wanted to tell you that is so important. If you don't see a list of things to bring for the Orisha, let's say they're doing a drumming to Yemaya and you do not see what to bring, there's always a person or an email of contact. You email that person, I would like to bring an offering. What can I bring? And you wait for a response. They're going to give you a list. It's so common that they might even be ready with a copy and paste. Like, bring Yemaya, this, like there's a long list. When you are bringing offerings, I would like you to know the difference between ademu and alademu. What is what? You might know ademu is an offering that is, let me see, the quickest way of defining it. It's a quick offering that it's just a one-step thing, like a cigar is an ademu. You don't need to do anything with it. Well, maybe light it, but you don't need to do anything. You don't need to put it together. Fruits are ademus. You don't need to do anything with it. You just pick it and you give it. Liquor, flowers, candles. These are things you do not need to do anything with them. It's just like a one thing item that you can bring. Alademu is another type of offering. There are many types of offerings, but alademu is a type of offering of something you cook. And why am I mentioning both of these is because when you have readings, you start having readings, you're going to bring this or bring that as part of an ebo. And maybe for you, you've had to do something for this particular Orisha and it's had to be cooked. Find out the why you had to do it, because it's going to be important when you're offering it. Okay. Before you made the offering, before you made it, you had a reading and it said, oh, bring Yemaya this cooked item. This is an ebo because you need prosperity, because you need a job, because you need more sweetness in your life, because you need focus, because of the whatever. Remember that because. When you do an offering, it is an exchange. It is an exchange of energy. I'm going to give you this key, which is going to be very difficult for those of you who are coming from a Christian point of view. You're bringing an offering for two reasons. You are, one, grateful for something, or two, you are asking for something. And the offering is going to be important to both. I'll explain. You are grateful for sweetness, and because you're grateful for sweetness, you're going to bring honey. That's a common one, right? You are asking for sweetness. Right now, your house is in shambles. You're fighting with everybody. You're not happy. Life sucks. You're asking for happiness. You're asking for sweetness, and you're offering honey for this sweetness that you are asking for. Okay? Have you noticed that I have not told you what to bring her yet? Nobody? I have not made the list. Mind you, that's my crown. I still have not given you a list. Some items are staples within a lineage. Lineage is important. And the path of the Orisha is also important. So lineages and paths. For some people, for their Yemaya, they bring honey. For others, it's molasses, and that's their staple. And you have to figure out which one is which, depending on the lineage. Some people it's both. You have to figure this out. Okay, we're going to go back. Back. Remember when I said priests are your key? Okay. If this is for a godparent of yours, key for you would be to spend time with this godparent, attend their events, attend and help out at ceremonies and in bowls. Yes, you don't have to be initiated to help to clean the kitchen, to sweep a floor, to run an errand. You don't have to be initiated for that. And observe. What is it that you're going to be looking for? You are going to be looking for what other people are offering and the whys. Watch. Seriously, just watch. This one brought flowers. Why did they bring flowers? Just because? Okay. This one brought this. This one brought that. Why did they bring that? The why, I think, is even more important than the what. Although they work together, tandem, but it's not the do-all and the full answer. Okay? It's just not. I'll tell you. Okay, I told you I was going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell it to you now. I was going to go to an event, and this particular story is something that I did over and over and over. And let's say it was to Oshun. And they would have a list, because most events, they do. Some don't. Some don't. The ones who are not put out for the world to see. Some don't. And what I would show up with, I would show up with 2 grocery bags of everything on that list. And until somebody, of course, they would take it when I would walk into the event, and I would be like, where do I put this? Where do I put this? And I would come in with these bags until somebody said, why are you bringing that? I'm like, well, because this is an Orisha. Like, I would look at them bewildered, like, because this is an Orisha event, and because, like, duh, you bring them stuff. They're like, no, you don't really do that. You bring out what you can. Because to me, it was a lot. I was a single mother at that time, and I wasn't making much. I was barely making, like, there were some months that I didn't have enough, but I really loved Orisha and I wanted to give. But you can't give what you don't have. They said, well, what do you want the most of? Let's say that I wanted money. Then they're like, that's it. Just bring a couple of dollars, put them in there. Bring, 5 or 10 or 20, whatever you can afford. And I'm like, but I want this. Well, then you bring some cigars. That's really good. You want, something about prayers or whatever. Bring some candles. And my list really shortened over time based on what I was asking for or what I was grateful for. And my wallet thanked me. My back thanked me. My bills thanked me because they were getting paid more because I was going to everything I could get my hands on. Okay, I have to tell you, and this is not just to you, Omileti, but to everybody who's been in this boat. I think it's awesome that you want to know what to offer any Orisha. The best that I can offer is your journey, to learn it, to go through it, to walk that walk. Because as you are learning, you see, for me, like I did the whole bags of groceries and then I would show up, but I had to learn that I give what I can and I give based on what I'm asking for or what I'm grateful for. To me, that was very meaningful, but I had to walk that road in order for me to figure that out. And now I give based on those two things, and it has been wonderful. You may need to walk that journey. Maybe you are grateful to Yemaya for something major that she did in your life. You walk that road. You talk to that priest. You figure it out. That is the best lesson that can be given to anyone who is an alejo or an aborisha. You walk that road. You learn every bit. Like, oh, I once had to do an abo with this orisha and they asked for this. And, it really did help. I think I'll do the same again. And I'll show up to this priest's house and I will offer it. And it's going to be a wonderful experience to not just give because it's from a list, but because it's meaningful to you. And I still say, you know what, keep that energy going that you want to know more, because that's amazing. And I could give you a list for each Orisha, but little learning is going to be there because there's no experience. There's no sacrifice because there's no learning process that is coming along with it. And I want you to have that. And I think you are, because if you took the time to ask this question, you totally are. You have reached the end of this episode. I know that this is a really good question, and you're not alone in this question. Many people are constantly asking it, and I'm so glad that you did, because it gave me a chance to put something which for some of you may be a relief. For some of you, it's like, I'm so mad she did not give me a list. It's not that I don't want to give you a list. It's that I want you to learn and grow in your pace as you're supposed to. So you're going to find out. Don't worry. You will. And it's going to be a lot of fun when you got to cook things and you got to do. It's going to get fun. I promise. For show notes, go to www.orishawisdom.com/54. I wanted to remind you that this episode is being sponsored by Alejos 101. Do you want to learn? Do you want to get a lot of your questions asked? Do you want to know if this is the path, this is the road that you would like to take? Find out. We have been around for several years. We have had quite a bit of alumni, and some of them are doing very well. Some of them are still growing little by little, and that's okay. Do you want to be part of that? Go to show notes, click on the link, and get started, or at least get onto the wait list. If you liked this type of episode, Ask a Priest, go to the show notes. But if you need to know, go to www.orishawisdom.com/ask a priest. No dashes, no dots, no nothing in between. Ask your question. If it gets chosen and we are going to answer it here, we will let you know. And I'm so glad that you will take the time to ask it, because I'm sure if you're thinking about it, somebody else is as well. I wanted to also let you know there's some big things coming to Orisha Wisdom. Big news are coming. Couple of things are in the works, so stay tuned. Seriously. If you liked this episode, like it, share it, comment. If you have a couple of minutes, definitely on YouTube, it will help to keep us on the map, as well as iTunes. If it's on YouTube, subscribe and click on the little bell icon. And as soon as another episode goes out, you will know and you will have it. And I think it is going to be great to keep sharing the information for others to be part of it as well. So stay tuned, because we have big news that are coming. And we have other Ask a Priest episodes coming, which some of these questions are really good, and I can't wait to share them with you. So for now, may the elevated ancestors and all Orisha bless you immensely. Odabo.
Thank you for listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes at orishawisdom.com/podcast. Can't get enough of Orisha Wisdom? Check us out at orishawisdom.com and subscribe to our community. Remember, the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha is all around us. Be blessed, and until next time.